Okay, so I'm working on a dining room table, so excuse the domestic stuff in the background. This isn't actually a workbench. In this case, I have my soldering iron, some wire strippers, stuff like that. I've got my vintage battery tester here. I've got tape. I've got a dead, old, number 467 B battery. I have another radio coming in the mail. I'm going to need another B battery for it. So I'm about to build one. And these batteries here are all going to end up in there. I got a plug Harbor Freight, $2.79 for 4-pack. You're not going to get them any cheaper than that. And they are zinc chloride, heavy duty. And they actually are more economical in this application than alkalines. They draw, or the radios that use them for plate draw very little current. So they will last a very long time. And when these leak, if they leak, they generally don't leak outside the shell. And if they do, the chemicals that come out of them are much less corrosive and damaging than that which is inside of an alkaline cell. So these are ideal for rebuilding these packs. The first pack I built with alkalines because I'm just of the belief that alkalines are always going to be better. But from reading up on the forums and getting to know the way these radios operate, the current draw is so low that these batteries are more than up to the task of taking care of the B part of the radio. So the A batteries, which run the film, it should be alkaline. Just don't leave them in the radio if the radio is going to be stored, because if they leak, they're disastrous. But for the filaments, they are certainly much better options for those tube radios. But for the plate, these are just fine. So I'm going to put you on pause and get to work. The very first step in the project is to use a sharp knife and to open up this cardboard packaging and get to the battery that's inside. These are not dated, but this one has not swollen. The case is in very good condition, and these cells look to be quite a bit more modern than the last few that I've taken apart.
Bye, girl.
I harvest this connector here. We're going to use this for our battery.
Alexa, turn on.
Okay, we have harvested the connector. This here is just absolute garbage, goes right in the trash. It's only a guess, it's just a guess, but I think this one is probably from the 60s. They did make these batteries into the 60s, possibly the 70s. A lot of these radios were still around. Remember that these radios were still in play until probably the very late 60s. There were still 2 battery portables being produced. This is Charlie. He likes to watch when Daddy's doing electronics. Charlie, say hi. That's Gatsby that walked past Charlie. So this is what is ultimately going to be our battery pack. I just wanted to point out that these batteries don't seem to be damaged much by heat, whereas the alkalines, if you heat them up too much, the terminals lose connectivity inside the battery internally. For what reason, I don't know. Maybe they're soldered and you're desoldering them. I haven't really dissected one of the failed ones to see, but yeah. Generally speaking, my first step is to tape them using what they call soldering paste or flux. Makes it quicker to solder. After each connection is made, I use my tester to make sure that I have a good connection. There's 2 batteries on my 22.5 volt scale. They're showing as good.
Come on, Charlie.
3 and 9 volts, 30 volt scale. We're doing good. It's very important to check for a good physical connection, because these things are going to be forced into a space and sometimes they'll come loose. Okay, so now we're now on the 45 volt scale, and 4 batteries are showing good. 45 volt scale. Now think about it. 4 batteries should really only be 36 volts, but these things are calibrated for what the radio would still play in most cases. So yeah, if it was a 45 volt radio, it would actually play on these 36 volt batteries here. All right, we've got 5 batteries now, which will show weak at the 5 volt scale and show good at the 45 volt scale. So what, 5 times 9, right? Okay, 6 showing just barely good on the 67.5 volt scale. But hey, That's 6 times 9, not 6 times 10, so not so bad. Okay, my cell is completed. And as you can see, we are showing good on this scale. Here's my completed cell. It's ready to be put into its packaging. And look at that. Right dead center of the good in the 67.5 volt scale, which is what this is going to be powering up, a 67.5 volt filament. And there you have it. Vintage radio power. Our B battery is there. Use a little tacky glue. Let me show you what I'm using here. A little tacky glue to glue the case back together. And there you go. We have a battery there that we can use to power a vintage radio that requires 67.5 volts. It's a shame so many people have given up on these radios or have them sitting around in non-usable condition because they don't know that they can power them. Now, this particular battery, there is a modern-day alkaline equivalent that you can buy from Batteries Plus, eBay, Amazon, $60. Who the heck's going to do that? $60. I'm into this battery. I mean, I could refill that case. I bought that case on eBay as a dead battery. I don't remember what I paid for it. It was under $20, and what's inside of it is, I don't know, $5, so it's half the price of what you could buy one for, and it's refillable with, basically $5 worth of 9 volts. So there you go, and it has the vintage look too. If you're into the aesthetic, you've got the aesthetic. You could actually do what I did and not put it in the case and use it to power the radio. It doesn't have to be in an EVEREADY casing in order to power the radio. But you can certainly build these with, there's Libby. Hi, Libby. You can certainly build these with just 9-volt batteries. As long as you just, have some imagination. If you look at my other videos, I built a 7.5 volt filament battery by taking a cell from an alkaline 9 volt, removing one cell. That gives me 7.5. It fits. I used button cell batteries to make a 90 volt pack. Again, the current draw is so low on the plate current that if you're going to use them just to show people that they work and play periodically and not sit there and listen for hours, button cells will turn the radio on and play it for a few minutes with no problem. And they'll recover nicely when you shut it off. The button cells are alkaline. They almost have the capacity of the original. They almost have the capacity of the original. This would be a much greater capacity than the original even. So it's built with alkaline. Built as is, it's about equivalent to the original. Although these are zinc chloride, the original was zinc carbon. So this actually does have a little bit more playtime probably than the original did. It's basically the same amount of cells. But anyway, there you have it. Imagination, ingenuity, and you can play these radios. It's just a matter of figuring out how you're going to get these higher voltages. This is a tester that's designed for these radios. So you've got your 30 volt, 40 volt, 5 volt, 67.5 volt. You've got your 75 volt, and you've got your 90 volt scales on there to test these batteries. But all of these radios were run down to about 45 volts, even if they're a 90 volt radio. So, you could use this battery to test 90 volt radios, no problem. They'll play. All right, there you have it. Thanks for watching.